First of all, I dey wonder where the Nigerians they get the mind to take go dey carry another Nigeria wey be say e don dey use itself, like e don dey fit dey hustle for itself. If this hair wey dem talk about so, this one no be wetin dem dey call scam, una tell us. We dey for paint hair with Nigeria flag, put am for Nigeria soil and disappear. Una know say I fit bring the update come for una some days ago. More leave that one. Secondly, the wetin they call the subsidy, where they say this man your enter city, your comot am like say na the subsidy na be wetin be say they pursue and they go. I don't understand. Even if you want to do something like that, is it your first priority when we have other challenges in Nigeria? So I beg, make una use una eye, see wetin I see, and make una use una ear, listen to wetin my ear hear, because this is around nonsense.
Again, what's trending? The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has broken his silence on the issue of subsidy removal 1 week after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu made the much criticized announcement. Peter Obi, while speaking with judicial correspondents at the Court of Appeal venue of the Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal, maintained that subsidy should be removed because it's an organized crime, but criticized the manner in which it was removed, stating that rather than go through a forceful removal, he would have provided various relieving policies to cushion the effect of the subsidy removal.
There's a difference between removing your tooth by applying anesthesia, which will alleviate your pain, and just pulling it out. The difference is that I believe it should be removed with conditions, and that condition has to be applied. If I was involved, I would have shown in empirical statistical data how much we are going to save, where we are going to apply it, the gains for the people, so they can, just like I said all throughout my campaign, that I'm going to govern the people by being open, showing them empirically verifiable facts on how the country can be better, and everybody can follow it. The reason why Nigerians are agitating about everything here is that when people say, let's go and suffer, let's go and sacrifice, they don't see the effect of the sacrifice at the end. But if you're going to do it, then do it in an organized manner where the people can see a verifiable plan. And that's it. I did a lot of similar things while I was governor in Anambra State, stopping this to do this. But each one I did, I showed the people in a verifiable manner where we're going to land. Governance should not be supply-driven, it should be demand-driven. You govern with the people. Let the people know what you're doing and explain to them in a clear terms.
Well, Peter Obi has broken his silence finally. If you recall, there was a story about how he had said that he would remove subsidy on the first day, but he has talked about cushioning the effect before removing subsidy, which is what he would do if he was president. But in the meantime, the Senate's approval of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's appointment of 20 special advisors has generated reactions on social media, although the president's letter to the upper chamber requesting the approval of the 20 special advisors had no names attached. Some Nigerians have expressed concern as to the nature of their duties and the cost implications. Last Friday, June 2nd, barely a week after inauguration, Tinubu announced the appointment of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, as Chief of Staff, and Senator Ibrahim Hassan Hajijiya as his Deputy Chief of Staff. Well, let's take some reactions. This is from Martins, who wrote, 20 special advisors would still be paid salaries, allowances, and would have securities and oddlies attached to them, with probably a long convoy. Cost of governance keep rising. Or Samuel wrote, like subsidy, we are waiting for Tinubu to make a strong statement on cutting the cost of governance. There is no better way to start than with these special advisors. It should not be business as usual. Cut all the entitlements to the basics. We must plug all the holes. Or Cecilia wrote, Nigerian senators are paid 13.5 million naira monthly to share the national cake, while service providers, lecturers, professors, doctors, nurses, teachers, police, military starve, and no one sees the perversion. What a country. Dr. Abati, I mean, this is the conversation out there. It is just unfortunate that it is within this whole subsidy removal announcement that the president is asking for 20 special advisors. And you have worked in the presidential villa. I'd like for you to educate us on what it is that these 20 special advisors will be needed
I
for.
didn't just work there. I was
Yes.
special advisor.
Absolutely.
In charge of media and presidential communications. Now, the thing is that executive powers are given to the president under Section 5 of the 1999 Constitution. He has executive powers. Now, that includes the powers to hire and fire and to appoint persons to assist him in the discharge of his functions. It is under that rubric that the Constitution recognizes that there must be a state from a minister from each state of the Federation, about 36. But in seeking the approval, oftentimes, the president could say, I want additional 6 from 6 geopolitical zones. Now, also, Section 151 of the 1999 Constitution also says the president can appoint special advisors to assist him in the discharge of his functions. He has to take the list of ministers to the National Assembly. He also has to the Senate. He also has to take the request for advisors to the to the Senate for approval, right? Then, of course, there are other positions in the Constitution that are recognized expressly in the Constitution. We've been arguing that with the appointment of ministers, because ministers, so that they will be round pegs in round holes, that their names, when they are submitted, the portfolios should be attached thereto, so that, when they are being quizzed by the Senate, you will know the particular assignment. They themselves will have an idea of what they're going to do. That practice has not been adopted. The relevant section of the Constitution in that regard has not been reviewed. But with regard to special advisors, the Constitution does not even say you have to state the portfolio or submit the names. That's entirely at the discretion of the president. And these special advisors, the number that has been quoted is 20. The Senate will determine their remuneration. The Senate will determine their number, but usually the standard number is about 22. But what President Tinubu has asked for is 20. And they cease to hold that position the moment the president himself leaves, because they are direct aides of the president. Now, the people are complaining. What they do not know is that apart from these 20 or 22 special advisors that will be appointed, these special advisors can also, in seeking further assistance for them to be effective in assisting the president, we approach the president and ask for the appointment of senior special assistants. The difference between senior special assistants and special assistants is that the assistants, those in the assistants category, they don't take oath of office. They don't take oath of allegiance. They are just there as part of the team. But special advisors would, because they are of minister of state rank, they are also of ministerial rank, they will be required to take an oath of office and an oath of allegiance, and they will be assisted by special assistants and senior special assistants. It is not true. I did not see any special advisor in our time that had bodyguards or that was using a convoy. No, you are aides of the president, and all of you work as the president determines. It's the president that will use his discretion to assign portfolio, special advisor media, chief physician to the president, special advisor social investment. All of that is at his discretion. So that is the reality of that. So people should just know how the system works before they just go to social media and talk about things they don't know. Now, secondly, as for Peter Obi, well, Peter Obi was indeed a member of the economic management team under President Jonathan. And he made it clear that he's not opposed to fuel subsidy. I have not had any other presidential candidate, even Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, did not oppose fuel subsidy removal. There is a consensus that, look, it's unsustainable, it's a drain on the economy, it promotes inefficiency, it promotes corruption. The issue is how. And that's why Peter Obi was talking about forceful tooth remover. If you want to remove a problematic tooth, I'm sure, you know, maybe everybody here will know that, you know, if you have had to remove a tooth before.
Yes, of course.
You are smiling.
Yes,
you are confirming
because
it.
I know
The dentist,
yes.
dentist will apply a local anesthetic.
Right.
Yes.
So Mr. Peter Obi is saying, if you do forceful removal,
Yes.
it will come with a lot of pain.
Which is
Isn't that what most Nigerians are saying now? That okay, even if you want to remove this fuel subsidy, you just came the same day, you just inflicted pain on the people without enough communication.
Absolutely.
As some people have argued, without making sure that the people take a sense of ownership of it. Even if the Buhari administration had made the same statement, a new administration should at least engage the people. So the problem now here is not about the economic sense of it. It is about what comes first, the chicken or the egg.
Absolutely. Well, Kayode, I mean, I think majorly the conversation is about cutting the cost of governance, which is why, you know, we're bringing up this topic. I mean, do you really think that the president needs all of those advisors that Dr. Abati has just shared with us about their duties and all of that? Do we need that at this point in our economy?
In our economy, we need whatever the president says he needs. But at the same time, there is absolutely no way you can justify a situation where you have so many special advisors. And like Ruben said, yes, there will be 20 special advisors, but there will still be senior special assistants. There will still be special assistants. So the number increases.
Yeah.
And Ruben, you can help us understand. Do they all get paid or not?
They get paid.
They might not have
they don't have convoys, but see, the president cannot do the job alone.
He can.
Take, for example, special advisor, media and publicity. The president cannot be speaking for himself. He will need a spokesperson. The spokesperson running a department with a team of about 150 people, and that includes the State House Press Corps. That includes different departments working on statements, preparing speeches, reporting meetings.
Does that fall under the purview of the Ministry of Information?
It's not Ministry of Information.
Is that part
the Ministry
of
of Information speaks for government. The office of the president has his own communications team.
For the president.
So
yes.
That really then
you know, I mean, it's not as if that's an expensive operation. Okay, are you going to say the president of Nigeria should not have a chief physician? He will have a chief physician.
If I could just very quickly chip in, it takes me to the point. The reason I deferred to Ruben's position is because of what our elder statesman, Engineer Ogule, Senator Ogule said. This presidential system is expensive.
Absolutely.
It costs us too much money.
It's ridiculous.
If it was a different kind of government, the president will not need to have that many people.
No.
And if he does, there will be members of the parliament who are working with the president. We know how it works in the United Kingdom, where the government is different.
That is the
They also have advisors in the UK.
Yes. But not many.
Okay.
Not this number.
Rishi Sunak recently appointed an economic advisor.
Not the kind of number.
I just, so we can move to our
the president
second
cannot do the work alone.
Yes.
However, he, as was mentioned in section 151 and 152 of the Constitution, he has discretionary powers. What the Senate does is to approve the numbers. In 2019, President Buhari had approached the Senate to appoint 15 special advisors. In 2011 was 20 from President Goodluck Jonathan, and that came under criticism because they put the amount of money that he was going to spend, that's taxpayers' money, to fund this at about 15,543,000, and that was a lot. In the spirit of the fuel subsidy removal, what Nigerians perhaps would have expected was that, yes, he needs advisors, he cannot run alone, but that he would be a slimmer team. A slimmer team, especially because if he's saying he wants to have an effective and efficient team. We're not asking him not to have advisors. What we're saying is that he must reflect the current state of our economy. That's what people are asking. And in terms of the details, perhaps when he releases the details of what he's appointing them for, it might justify the numbers. We don't have that yet. He would release that afterwards.
In any case, you are talking about number. These 20 special advisors that he wants approval for, they will be shared between him and the vice president.
All right,
because
Dr.
the vice president has his own, wing of the villa, and he also has advisors who assist him in the day-to-day running.
I support Kayode's stance, which is maybe we should adopt the parliamentary system. Correct. Well, let's take another story. Nigerian Air was trending on Tuesday after members of the Senate Committee on Aviation expressed dissatisfaction at the unveiling of the purported national carrier, the launch of Nigeria Air with just one aircraft. On the last working day of the Buhari administration on May 26, 2023, was declared by the chairman of the House Committee on Aviation, N1g, a fraud after major stakeholders in the deal between the federal government and Ethiopian Airlines denied knowledge of the launch.
We want to put on record that the committee and indeed the National Assembly had no role in the purported launch of Nigeria Air or anything related thereof. We as a committee will not accept any attempt by any individual or group of individuals or organization to hide under the project Nigeria Air and siphon our commonwealth. Consequently, the committee hereby resolved to 1. Direct the Federal Ministry of Aviation and its partners in the Nigeria Air project to immediately suspend any operations regarding to Nigeria Air and every other action with respect to Nigeria Air. 2. Urge our new president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, the president and commander-in-chief, to, as a matter of urgency, constitute a high-level presidential committee to undertake a holistic review of the processes of the whole Nigeria Air project and advise the government on the way forward. 3. Ensure that all individuals or groups or organizations involved in the controversial Nigeria Air takeoff are brought to book, prosecuted and sanctioned.
Circle, which the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, named as one of the shareholders of the 46%, said to belong to Nigerian institutional investors, denied at the House session that they had anything to do with the airline and that the shareholders announced by the minister did not contribute a dime to the purported airline. They also claimed that every expenditure came from the federal government. The MD of the Nigeria Airspace Management Agency also stated that the aircraft which the minister brought in as Nigeria Air was a chartered Ethiopian aircraft and that the aircraft does not belong to the national carrier. ICRC, the body which gives the final compliance certificate to government businesses, has not given approval to the Ministry of Aviation to carry on with the national carrier due to the pending court order filed by AON. They claim that the House Committee meeting that they knew nothing about the launch of the Nigeria airline. I mean, this has caused a lot of reactions on social media. You know, Ayo, I'd like to come to you on the story. A lot of questions here. I mean, the fact that SACOL had pulled out, saying that, you know, they had nothing to do with the airline. I mean, what does that signify? I mean, does it mean that the Minister of Aviation had used our taxes for this? I mean,
what they said was that they were not invited to the unveiling, so they were
but
not
they also
aware.
denied, like you heard me, saying that they did not contribute a dime.
Yes, so people question that. So the billions of naira that have been sent prior to, you know, the logo, the unveiling. Earlier on, I'd questioned how much money was spent even for that ceremony. That now, in terms of nomenclature, we're trying to identify whether it was an unveiling or a launch. What we heard was that it was a launch. It was an aircraft that arrived on Nigerian soil, and it had the flag painted on the wings and all that. And there were pictures taken, and people said we were launching something on the 26th of May, 2023. Now we find out that it's not even there. Other questions, OGs, that there's an MD, Dapo Lumide,
right.
And people have asked, what office was he working from? Who were his, what staff, who was he reporting to? What was the structure in that particular office? Because they don't have a website. I don't know if they have a registered office. So it just feels like Nigerians were taken for a ride.
Yes, I mean, with all of these approvals lacking, and what are we saying? That the minister went ahead in defiance of the court order. You know, people have been sending tweets. I'll take one more tweet. This is Preach Love, says, since the